Hello guys, thanks for joining us on another board game night. Tonight we're playing Dragonsgate College. This is from NSKN Games, and the designers, I apologize in advance, is Thomas van die Ginster and Wolf Planky. Of course, I probably pronounced that horribly wrong, but I'm trying to do you guys a service by mentioning your names. Alright, so we're going to do an overview of Dragonsgate College. We're going to explain some of the rules, show you some of the components, and then we're going to show you some gameplay where we'll play through a couple of rounds. The game is only 5 turns, or 5 rounds, so we'll probably do 1 or 2 rounds, so you can see how the game flows and what it's like, and then we'll come back at the end with our verdict. To help me with this review, I have Mick, Martin, Carla,
hello,
and me, Jason. This is my copy of the game, if that's relevant to you guys. Right, I'm going to show you some stuff. First of all, each person has a player board. The theme is Dragonsgate College, which is us, have our own individual schools where we're trying to basically raise students to take up careers in the fantasy world that are needed by them. So for example, if you think of these as individual towns, and these are the careers that they have available to them, and if we get benefits, we get these benefits if we send them off to do their schools or do their careers.
So do we each have our own college?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
I suppose it's like
So,
house,
or is it like a
like
campus
House
or
and things like that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
dormitories,
think of like Gryffindor,
So we're all
Slytherin.
within Dragonsgate College, all with our own dorms or whatever. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. Right, so what's going to happen?
Academic
American
rivals.
universities where they're virtually like a city or something.
Each of us has a dice here, and this is a dice drafting game, by the way. So each of us has a colour of our own dice in here, and we have 4 neutrals. So what's going to happen is at the beginning of the game, we'll set the board up ready for, so new students, new colleges will come out, the turn tracker will move on, and then we roll these. So let's say I've rolled those already. Then the first player gets to take one of these. So let's say he does this, and he moves it up there, and then he gets to do an action with a 5. So for example, he could move in the training dungeon, which allows him to move 2 spaces up, or her, to there, and then get those rewards. So he gets a money or an imp.
They get. Jeez, man.
Yeah, they will get those rewards, or they can go build a building, or they could take first player, etc., etc. The trick here is these are the neutral dice. So when you do the neutral die, only you get to do the action. When you do your own die, you get to do the action. When you take someone else's die, so in this case, Carla is red. If I do that action, I do the 3, let's say I go do a career, then Carla gets to do a bonus action. So let's say, for example, she could trade in money for points.
She gets to use the 3 as well, essentially.
Any way she wants.
Yeah.
That 3s are allowed.
We keep going round and round like this until all the dice are being used, and then that'll dictate the end of the round. We'll then do cleanup and move this along. There's a lot of actions here that we can do, so I'm just going to go around the board quickly. This is where you get first player. It's a little bit of a risk reward. Like, for example, if Martin went there, he spent any dice to go here, you can then get the imp from there. But if Mick then went there, Mick is first player and Martin...
Yeah, essentially, it's whoever's furthest to the left is the new first player, but only, these 2 have got rewards, this does nothing. So if you go there, guaranteed first, but you can gamble it and go here for a money, but if someone goes ahead of you, you ain't first, and it's basically 1 dice, 1 money then, which is fairly rubbish.
Exactly.
And it's also clockwise, so it's
yeah,
not
always
even
good.
that Martin would be off.
Yeah, it's not turn order, it's first player.
And just so you notice, turn 3 we'll get 4 new neutral dice. Turn 5 we'll get a neutral die that everyone benefits from. This is the training dungeon. You can only go with 4, 5, and 6s here. The higher the number, the more movement points you get. Allows you to move through here. First person gets that. Second player, third player. There's a set collection for trophies as well, which I'm not going to go too much into, but suffice to say, 1 of each gets you 4 points. 3 of a kind gets you 4 points. In fact, I did go into it.
It's literally that straightforward.
Over here, you can get money from the bank. Yeah, you can get new teachers. Teachers, students. I'll come back to that one in a minute.
It's important to note as well that teachers and students take up space, and currently the space, so you've got offices on your board for teachers or wizards or whatever, and the dormitories for your pupils. They're currently full. So if you get a new one, you have to boot someone out, but you can build new offices. Apparently, you can't build new dorms. Good effort, Joe. He's just dropped all the buildings.
This one over here is where you can change money into points, and this is where you can do buildings. If you build a level 1 building, that's the cost, and that's the points you get. Level 2, level 3.
And that obviously goes then on your board in vacant spaces for you to then kind of build out your college further.
And they're kind of like, you know, you got the L shape, longer ones, and so on. The single ones for these ones. I'll just knock some more. To note about the buildings, though, if you for every building space you take up, obviously negates the negative points you would get. So for every space you have left open, you lose 1 victory point at the end of the game.
It also starts costing you money. So for each space it takes up, you move this up, and then it's like in the cleanup phase, you have to pay this much money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it gets more and more expensive to maintain a larger.
So you need
college.
to build like an engine to gain money. Or obviously you can just go to the bank and ask for money.
No engine. I don't think you can do an engine, can you?
Well, there's some buildings, yeah.
That give you some, yeah.
All right, so this is where the main crux of the game is, where I said all the towns that need have careers open. So what you're looking at here is, I'm just going to pick this up. This tells you their primary skill and their secondary skills. So in this case, if I send a wizard to this town, I'm going to be doing that as the primary. So I need 3 in magic.
He can choose any one of these 3, just to be clear as well. He can choose any one of those 3 to be the primary. The other 2 would then become the secondary, and he's got to meet those skills with a student.
Exactly, and this is what my teachers provide. So during the gameplay, we'll show this more often. But at the moment, as you can see, I've got my teachers provide 1 skill in magic and 1 skill in warriordom, but nothing in roguedom. If I get better,
it's subterfuge, didn't it?
That's the subterfuge trait.
I think this is essentially the skills you get from that campus, pretty much, and then the students have their own skills that they add to it as well.
Yeah, what they
so
good at
any
themselves.
student going to there is going to come away with at least that, and then plus their own inherent abilities.
And you can spend money to boost the secondary skills, but not the primary skills. And as we go higher up to the bigger towns, they'll require some mastery skills. So, for example, like this one, you need at least 1 previous
which is one of these tokens,
Magic
basically,
skill.
from somewhere else. Yeah.
So that's pretty
And
much.
they get more and more expensive. Like you've got 2 warrior ones there, so 2 axes.
We have a nice little player aid as well that helps us. So, for example, first we do the preparation, which is bring out new teachers and things. Each person will get some money. So you do get money at the beginning of the game, a minimum of 2, depending on how your other things go. Then the dice roll, that's where you roll the dice. And then action phase is where you choose the dice going in turn order, or play around clockwise. And then the cleanup phase is where we remove the teachers and students we didn't buy. And at the end of the game, this is all the stuff you can score points for. I'm not going to go too much in it, but you can see a lot. Various things. So imps allow you to modify the dice rolls. So for example, if I needed a 2, I can spend an imp to bring that down by 1. If I spend 2 imps, I can bring it down to a 1.
Or
It's our board now as well.
Yeah.
They don't wrap around. They're 6 can't become 1 by 1 named imp.
This action here, I just want to briefly explain this. This allows you to bring more of your own dice into the neutral pool. So, for example, if there was let's say those dice were there already, and on my turn, I can spend this dice, even neutral or not, so long as it's a 1, because that's a 1 there. I can then take already expent neutral die from the pool and replace it with one of my own. Which means the next round, I'll have more action dice in the pool, which is a potential chance that someone else will use my dice to give me a bonus action. But obviously, I've just gave up.
Yeah, you've done nothing really to do that.
Exactly. So, I think that's basically it. It's a dice placement game where you're basically choosing the dice to go to the actions. The gameplay will show you a lot more what's going on, but that's the rough idea.
Come back at turn 3, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. So, we'll be back with Dragonsgate College gameplay. Alright folks, you join us for the gameplay. We are just about to start turn 3. Ooh, you can't see that. Turn marker has moved over there. We've added the new neutral dice to the pool. We'll go through a couple of bits in a moment.
You'll notice that I still only have 1 yellow dice in there. I fear this is going to be detrimental now.
Alright, so the first thing you do at the beginning of the turn, as you can see here on the turn phase, is the preparation phase. So all the ones that we didn't buy last turn have been wiped off, and now we've replaced them with new ones. So we've got 3 new teachers, 4 new students in a 4-player game as this is. Then we do income, which Martin is the banker.
That's banker. Everyone get 2, or has anyone got additional income?
I've only got 2.
I've got 2.
Dots. There you go.
Thank you. So that is our income to do some stuff with, and then Mick is the first player, so he's gonna roll the dice.
Knock everything everywhere.
We got a big pile of dice now because we've added 4 new neutral ones to it, and then that goes into the bottom of the sand glass. And then as the first player, Mick will get to do the first action, and of course we'll explain the actions as he does them because actually, just a quick look at the boards. This is my board, so you can see I've built a new teacher lounge, and I've got a little Warriors building. That's what my stats look like at the moment. I've had an upgrades in a couple of bits, and my expenditure is 1 at the moment thanks to my blacksmith thing over there. That's what Mick's one looks like. That's what Mick looks like. That's Martin's. Martin's getting heavier in the building, I think.
I built 1 building.
And
Carl's built twice as many buildings as I had, Jason.
No, it's
Same
not true.
size,
I've got
though.
the same size. Mine's just a little bit more.
All right, Mick, what are you doing? So you're
Spending
spending a
6.
6.
And I am going to send my student.
Is he going to get a job?
Yeah.
Lazy bum. So obviously a 6 is what's going to be on the career path.
The warrior one is going, so he adds 1 to the warrior to make
Okay,
that 4,
another person
2
doing
and
warrior
2.
ones. Brilliant.
Where's he going? So just to explain, obviously in this particular one, he needs a warrior skill of 4 as he's chosen warrior as his primary path. He provides 1 himself, and Mick has already got 3 in the path, so that's good. And then you need 2 of each others. He's got 2 and 2, and so that's good.
Taking him and get 2
2 points.
Oh, I'm no longer lost.
Oh, that's the victory points, yeah. No, I'm lost. So that's the reward everyone gets for going to that town. And then, where's your your tile? So flip the tile over to show. So at the moment, you get another victory point, and you got a gold cup. So that moves up by 1. And then you add it to one of those things. So you can see you can only have 7 skills or 7 students in work. And that will... So what did you replace? So your magic skill goes up by 1. Alright, because that was a neutral dice, only he gets to do the action. And now it goes to Martin.
Right, I think I've got to get my dice in there. So I'm going to use this 1 to activate this. And I'll basically... I've got to. Thank you.
I think so.
Okay.
It's starting to feel quite detrimental now.
And because he used his own... Oh no, that's not good. He used a neutral die, so now it goes
I
to
thought
Carla.
about using somebody else's, but no.
I'm going to use a 3. And I'm going to take this student and
So just to show as well. So the student, if you can see that, the student's got skill values on them.
So that one's a little more efficient in magic.
Yeah. And Carla's college itself has got a magic of 3, a subterfuge rogue of 1, and warrior of 1.
so I'm going to go there. So she needs a 4. So I've got 3 as standard.
She provides
And she
1.
provides 1. And I don't need any other skill for that. So I take that.
So first thing you get is 2
2
money and an imp. So Martin can provide you with the money.
I can. There you go.
And then on the back of the magic cards, they all have
So
the
that's
same.
how it... And then I get...
Is one of these magic cards. You can only have a maximum of 2 in hand. Some of them will say play immediately, and some will say whatever they do.
Okay, so I guess I'll play that at a later stage.
While you're thinking about where to put that, I'm going to think about what I'm going to do on my turn.
What does this track do? So
It's
basically
literally a victory
first-
points
okay.
thing, yeah.
So Carla's got 6 in the bank at the moment.
Exactly, and the rest of us have got zilch, because you have to be on the track to score. So you put it over there. Okay, so now
Did
it
it
goes...
not give you something as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
You got the card.
Alright, and then it goes to me. What dice am I going to choose? So, the interesting thing here, obviously, is I've got 2 of my own dice in here. If I choose my own dice, I'll lose the benefit of someone potentially using my dice and giving me a bonus action. So, I'm clearly not going to want to use those unless I was desperate for a 1 or a 2. But there's 1s and 2s, so that's fine. But, as my board, I can't send any more students to careers because I've spent them all. They're all down there in those little hick towns. So instead,
Another student?
Yep, I'm going to get a student, and I'm going to use this last neutral dice. So that's going to go in there, and then I'm going to get a student. So I'm going to see if I can get close to you so you guys can see. These are the students here, and they obviously vary in different bits and pieces. So I think I'm going to go with this one. So it's got 1 magic and 1 warrior skill, which is pretty decent. And it'll go into a dormitory. And that's my turn. Mick?
I will spend Carla's 5 to go to the building to buy a 3-size building.
Cost you 6, Mick.
Yep.
And we'll get you 3 points for building that building.
Mick's storming up the victory point track this turn. And then, of course, he gets to choose a building and then choose where it goes.
Oh, that's an extra teacher, isn't it?
They all do various different things.
They're also... So that's got a...
Rogue, yeah. Well, I think I've got... What the hell is that?
It's just a rogue
Oh,
or
just
a...
a picture, yeah. So I'll do...
Of course, if you did it that way, you'd get both anyway.
Yeah.
No, I mean... That. Because then you've got... And I mean, you might not want to leave
Oh no,
it
that's
like that,
cool
but,
for me, yeah.
Yeah, because then you'll get 1 magic and 1 rogue. Because he basically covered up 1 on his board, so he gets the rogue and the space itself.
And it's got a teacher's lounge.
You've got your points, that's
Yep.
fine. The other thing that happens is this goes
This will
up
go
3
up 3,
steps.
so I'll have to pay 2 at the end of the turn.
Yeah, that starts to sting a little bit as well.
But because you used a red 5, that means Carla gets to do a red 5 action.
She's going in. Star Wars joke. None of you will get that.
Why? Because they're Harry Potter fans.
Oh dear. No, not I mean none of the viewers. I mean none of you around the table.
Why not Star Wars?
So you're going to spend
gonna
him.
use, yeah,
as big
to
a
make
fan
it a
of it.
6.
Okay.
Remembering things. But I love the
And
films.
I am going to...
Red 5 was Luke's shit.
So red 6, you've made this red a 6. It doesn't physically change it, but obviously Imp allows you to do that. What are you doing for a 6? So you obviously got 6 there, 6 there, 6
I'm
there.
gonna basically, I want to say sell another student.
They're going to go get a
Yeah,
career.
so
Depends
that
what
career,
building you have in the college. We teach them. You
so-
obviously sell them.
So this one's interesting. She needs, because this has got a mastery
oh, no, I can't
token.
do that one.
You can.
No, she
No, I
can't.
can't.
Oh,
She's got 4 in magic.
No.
You could do that
What
one
I-
though, next to it.
That was...
You have to explain that one
You
again.
can do that one, and then you don't have to spend more
Jason,
money.
explain that one again.
so that one, you need at least 1 magic token in your supply already. So for example, you couldn't do that one until you've done a previous magic
The
one.
reason Carla couldn't do it was because the primary skill, the larger number, you need naturally. So a combination of your stats on your college plus the student. Carla has a maximum of 4 there because she doesn't have any magic students left. I don't think.
Yeah, no, that's right. It is annoying. But I think I'm going to do this one then.
So she needs a primary skill of magic 4, which Carla has.
But my secondary skills, I've only got 1 of each.
But the student
she
gives
goes-
1 in warrior.
Warrior.
In
So
warrior,
you've got 2.
so I just need to pay 1 to the bank for the
Alright.
for the other secondary.
And-
So 2 points
Which is red.
and
And
an
an
imp. And then whatever's on the back of that.
Right, so now you can't have more than 2 cards.
So I can play 1 card. So I will.
So she's now gone over the hand limit of 2, which means she has to either play or discard.
Before she draws one, or does she get to draw it first?
She gets to
and
draw
then-
first and then look.
Okay, so have you got
Okay,
the card
no,
now?
I don't.
Okay, so you
So-
get a card and then, because that might be the one you play.
And this is all during Mick's turn. So
Oh Jesus, I should start thinking about what I'm going to do then.
Yeah.
I think I know.
Well, I did know, but I forgot that you had to. So I'm going to go up here. I think I can go there, but I can't because I haven't got 2 rogues.
Correct.
Well, I'll play this card, which allows me to receive 2 coins for each size 1 building I have, which I have 1.
Martin get 2
All
coins.
others gain a imp.
Sorry,
we
it's
get
2
imp.
coins.
There's an imp for you.
God.
I cut flower for imps. Just milling around annoying me.
And
They're great, man. Use them.
Discarded.
Actually, it's probably
Place
points
that
for imps at the end of the game.
there.
Two for 1.
Hey.
and up that skill.
Me.
Yep.
I am going to use your red one, Carla.
Oh, Carla gets another action.
Flourish.
Yeah, I thought I'd deny that now. I'm going to send a student off here, so I'm going to send this rogue guy. I've got 3. I'll make it a 4. With him, so I get 2 money and another imp. Imp, please.
No, I'll swap my down.
You and see,
No one's trying to get away.
To yours in a second.
and then I get
Subterfuge track.
that, and then I'll get. I have a point.
Okay.
This is garbage, by the way.
Oh, but I did notice that you've got the ones that are missing from here. Are they on here?
And then Carla,
Oh, I
what
see.
Carla's doing
You get
is,
one
she's
anyway.
for that one, she's replacing one of these dice.
You know, I've got
With
to
her
finish the
own-
dungeon thing. I'm going to finish the dungeon and that'll be useless.
Alright, Carla, it is now actually your go after having 2 guys in a row.
No, it'll only
Oh,
get me 1.
now I need to give somebody
The
else a
four
go.
does 2 anyway.
True.
Yeah, so you
Oh,
got
no, it doesn't. It does 1, doesn't it? Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
Good point.
4.
Do.
Okay, so I'm going to use
What's wrong with my 2?
this 3. It's not a 3.
What was wrong with my 2 then? Oh, it's
That's
not a
not
3.
Not a 3! Sorry.
Excellent maths work. Excellent reading of the dice.
Teachers.
I think Carla wants a 2.
I would like that rogue.
Can you read them all? Do you want me to read them out to you?
Well, I think they all
You
got
need
like
a
This one does 1
singular.
rogue, 2 warrior. This one does 2 warrior.
You need a 3 for that, yeah, not a 2.
So I get a copy of 3.
I
Yeah.
think you need to read.
Right. So I'll spend an
Students,
imp.
isn't it?
Yep.
Spend an imp.
You're going 4 or 2? 4, yeah.
To
We're
go
going
there for 1 victory point.
mix steaming up the victory point track. Alright, so now it's actually my go. I should have probably paid attention while I was making jokes and talking shit.
Not get the dice right. And
I think I might send my newly acquired student out the door immediately.
Don't unpack!
And I'm going to have to use either mix 6 or 1. So I'm going to use the 6.
that's what we like to hear.
Fresh as a week.
So my student's pretty good at magic and warriors. So
Do you know their name?
Steve. I might go with that warrior's taken up there. So, oh man, actually, I didn't. There's not really great spots for me to go.
Good planning, Jason.
I suppose I could go down there. Yeah, screw it. He's just gonna go there. I got all those stats built already, so he's gonna go there, which gives me a coin and a victory point. And this gives me 2 more coins, please, Governor. And I'll put that there, which I'm gonna. So that's my 3rd warrior track, which pushes me up 1 on the subterfuge skill because that's what I just covered up.
Look at that. Now we're all in. What happens if we tie there?
I'll cover that later.
It's Jason speak, but I don't know.
I can't remember. And then because I used mix blue 6, he gets to have a
I'll get the
go.
iron in here as well. So I'm going to use the 522 because I can't use that one. And I'll use the magic one. I'll take the magic one. And that gives me a card.
But first, you get 2 victory points and 2 money.
Right, this is what I need for the
For the massive expenditure of building.
I'll move along the subterfuge as well, please.
Oh, goodness me. So no one's better off. Well, we're all getting points now anyway.
And then
What the?
he's reading his card at the moment. Might be.
Definitely doesn't say immediately, but
Well, you can
So
keep
the
it.
top half is what you get, and then it.
no, it's just yeah. But it's
Alright, Mick, so just to add more pressure, it's now actually your turn.
Oh god, I was planning my go then as well.
That was just my 6 that I used from you.
Probably my turn.
Who's first player? Me.
You.
Martin.
Oh, that's fucking annoying.
That was a 2.
That means you have to use your own.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to.
Well,
necessarily.
if both of you don't use it, then I am going to end up using it.
So,
And knowing you two, considering there's 2 ones
so
there,
I'm going to turn it
I'm
into
definitely
a 1.
getting my 1.
So now I'll send this one, who actually can go to that building now. That's a 5 and a 3. And that one is going to go for the Zia Warrior. So another 2 victory points and a coin.
Do you have? Yeah, you go that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go there, but I had no choice. And then he's going to do that.
Well, you don't. Hold on. You don't have 5 warrior. This guy needs to be a 5 warrior, and you've only got
Oh, my bad.
3.
My bad. Sorry.
Put him on magic.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't actually look at that.
Put him on magic because you've got 5 from that.
Yeah, and you need 1 on each of the others,
What
which
you've
you've
done.
got. Yeah.
There you go.
No, I'll actually go on here because if I'm going to go,
Yeah, but you don't have 5 on the subterfuge, unless he provides you with 1. What does he provide you
Where's
with?
1?
he
But
does.
He needs 2.
Yeah, he does. But oh yeah. So I'll go there on the magic.
See, this is what we have to battle with.
I keep reading it.
Normally we chop this stuff out. You don't see dinnering. What you can't see is his tartan blanket
What?
over his lap. And
And that'll zip me up there.
What? Is that what it does? Oh yeah.
Dungeon move 1 and another wizard hat, please.
Wizard hat.
there's a habit of 3, just to remind you.
And it would move me to.
I've done it already. You got it from
Right,
the warrior
and
track.
I've got a yellow 2 to use now.
So
have
did you
I?
do that one and that one?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I don't know that one.
Okay. And that one maybe you do at the end of the game, but we've done it now. So
I'm going to spend an imp
just got to see which one.
To make it a 3 or a
No.
1?
to make it a 1.
Nice.
Ah.
I need actions, man. I'm really struggling.
Alright, so now it is actually your turn, Martin.
Oh yeah. Right. I think I don't want to do that necessarily. Let's just have a small. Okay, I think I'm going to use your 1, Mick,
What?
just to force Jason into losing action. Yeah.
Oh, boo! You guys suck.
How did I?
I'm gonna,
So to make me lose an action, you give Mick another action.
Well, you were going to give me it anyway.
but Mick's not going to win. Let's be fair.
He's winning by miles.
Yeah,
that's
he'll do
false. I've done
something.
that before, and it just all goes to hell on
Look
the
at
last
this.
go.
I'm at the back.
All warriors are on there. That's not on there. I don't really want to spend too much money. I think I will go. Oh, man, this sucks. Sending him off to get a job, and really it's hard to put him in anything. I've just built a load of brutes. So, can't do that.
That's what he's-
that.
He's taking whatever track looks like.
You have money.
I know, but
You can't do the primary with it. So it has to either
he's
be
got basically. I've got a warrior of 6, but unfortunately, everyone's just gone. Yeah, screw magic.
You can do that one. Oh, you don't have
can't.
magic.
And I'd like to get one, but
But you can pay
I
for
need
magic.
some more magic. I can't.
No,
can't.
because he needs the token and he
primary
doesn't
one
have
yet.
the token.
So what
Oh.
I'm probably do, I'm going to probably do a subterfuge one, alas, and it's probably going to be this one, I think. I'll have to spend 2 money to do that, or I do 2 money to do that, but get 3 back. Are these always move 1 on that track?
Yeah.
That's rubbish, isn't it? Yeah, I'll do that one then. So I'll spend the money to gain myself a magic. I'll gain that money back. So I can have a point, please, Jason.
Sure.
Oh, hang on. That moves up 2.
Oh, or 2. 1 or 2.
Good.
It's always going to move up the subterfuge.
And I'll put that there and have an imp. I think. Have an imp back.
Okay.
Action.
I'm going to use my 1 to go here, and it's that one wizard, 2 warrior.
Which can go in your teacher lounge. Or you could sack off one of your old teachers, but I don't see why you would do that.
I don't see why I would do that either.
And then it goes to you, Car. Do you want my 2 or my 1? You guys all suck. Trade this in for a 5.
Not all 4 of them.
It's 5 there. Oh, if you clear it out, you get 2 points.
At the end of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for that on here.
I guess I'll.
Which action are you spending?
I am
The 2 or the 1?
2. No, the 1. Sorry, it's a 1.
So you doing? Are you getting a new teacher or something?
No, I am spending a student because the teachers are rubbish.
Okay. So you're setting him on a career path.
I think so. I'm just trying to decide which one's better. I think so. I'm going to put him over here.
So you need a 4 subterfuge, which
So
you
it's
have.
4 subterfuge because he's 2.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, she is.
She's short by 1
Warrior.
warrior,
So it costs you a
which
coin.
will cost me a coin.
And magic you're up the wazoo with.
Yes, so magic I'm fine with.
So you get an imp.
2 points.
Get your imp, and you are red. So it puts you to 19.
And then my token gives me 1 movement on the subterfuge and an imp.
And
Whoa.
And then I'm going to put that over there, which will move my warrior skill up by 1.
And then because you used a 1, I feel no reason why I shouldn't just do that. Done. So now we have no more neutral dice.
And everyone's got that 2 points.
Yeah.
So essentially nobody has.
And then on my turn, I will use that 2. And I could get a teacher because I've got a space for a teacher lounge, which will bump some shit up. I don't really care about getting money as I got loads.
Typical Jason.
You got 11 money.
Yeah,
Goodness me. Build a building.
I can't. I need a 5 or a 6.
Spend 3 imps.
I do actually have 3 imps.
There you go. Job done.
But I think I'm just going to take a teacher. And I'll take... This one actually gives me a money and a point. Plus 1 more barbarian skill.
Because God knows you need more money.
What's the other guy then?
Plus 1 on subterfuge and warrior.
Magic.
Oh, magic.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not
No, it's
subterfuge.
warrior and magic.
Yeah, I'm going to take that guy. He looks a little bit like a Harry Potter character.
Dumbledore, I think it's probably the name they're looking for. Or Sirius
So-
Black.
Put 'em up.
Or Ron.
Or none of the above as...
He doesn't even know what Harry Potter is.
And
And
because-
because Carla talking about it one day. And
Because I did my 2, I get another action because... No, I don't. I'm joking. And that is basically the end of the action phases. There's no more dice left. So now we go to the cleanup phase. So in the cleanup phase, we remove the remaining professors and teachers and students that weren't used.
pay maintenance.
Pay maintenance. So for example,
1 coin, Carla.
I need to pay a 1.
There's 4.
There's my 1, Martin. And then first player marker will move around. So it goes to Martin now. And then if this was the last turn of the game, we would go to scoring phase, but it's not. So this moves up to round 4.
Nothing fancy happens here, does it, on round 4? It's just a
Nope.
normal turn.
Yep. And then we lay out new ones if you would. In the next phase is lay in new ones. And we'll carry on with the round. I'm pretty sure you guys get the gist of what's happening here, so we're not going to go through another full rotation. But we will come back at the end of the game to tell you who won and what we think. See you in a bit.
How Mick cocked it up.
Alright folks, we're on to the verdict. We've finished our play of Dragonsgate College. Ironically, now that I realise I'm aiming at the score, so there's no point in me dilly-dallying. But in last place is Mick with 43 points. In third place is me with 46. Second place is Carlo with 47. You beat me by 1 point again. You beat me in the last game by 1 point.
Same order. as
Yeah.
well, that's not it.
And Martin has won. He's down here with 52 points. All right. So, we gave a quick look at the board. You can see this is what my board. I filled up the whole board with buildings. My income's not too bad. I filled up all my career tracks as well. I struggled to get I got one set of trophies, but I couldn't get any other set. I mean, I should have probably done that track faster to get one of those trophies, but I did some other actions instead. I got a couple of imps points for imps at the late game. Paid all my stuff, so I was good. My barbarian track, my warrior track was almost, well, he's complete, and that's all. I didn't do much in thievery. That's what Mick built a couple of superfluous buildings on the last turn just to fill up his buildings thing. And it was quite funny. On the last turn, there was 4 students. On the first 2 dice activations, all the students were gone, and then I randomly got one from a card which I drew from the deck.
Which got you 4 points, which stopped you being last.
Yeah.
And you had told me, oh, you can get one from that deck, and I said, I need to do something else.
That was from Martin. Martin also built up everything. And
I think Carla's the only one with 1 space
left.
I
Yeah.
don't remember playing this before
No, I've got 2.
and...
Oh,
no,
done buildings.
Oh, yeah,
I
buildings.
don't remember it being filled up before. I think buildings were few and far between.
But that
maybe
last
not.
turn, there was a lot of 5s and 6s.
True, yeah. But it's also money as well.
This is the subterfuge track. So Colin and Martin were shared for first place. Neither of them had any seals. In fact, I think I had the only subterfuge seal, which is this little symbol at the bottom here. So this was broken by player order, which Martin took on the last turn, which gave him a point for having first player marker, and
the 2 extra
points from that.
as well, yeah.
So that was pretty good. Yeah.
So in actual fact, yeah, you would have been there, and I would have been there. So we'd have tied.
No, you'd have been on 50.
No, because I wouldn't have had first player marker as well.
So-
if I hadn't have taken that.
And that would have been broken by imps, I think it was. Or something like that.
Martin would have gotten.
Alright, so let's talk about what we thought. Let's start with Martin. This should be fair.
It started with me because I've slightly moaned at quite a lot of this through. I think, right, I'll start with the positive. It's an alright game. I'm not going to go better than alright. I think it's okay, but I think I'd almost go as far as to say it's plagued with issues. I think everything sort of works, by and large, the dice drafting and all that. I think there is a problem in the dice drafting, and we found that several times. So when you take someone else's dice, let's say I activate Jason's dice here, I have that ability, and then Jason also gets to activate that ability. And when that's happening all the time, it's really, really easy to lose track of whose actual turn it is, whether they've done their activation. Like, quite often, because Jason's sitting opposite me, he finishes his secondary activation, if you like, and then we think, okay, then it's mixed go, which means Carla's basically missed her go. So I don't think we did it.
No, yeah.
But it's really easy to do that. And there's nothing to kind of mark whose turn it is versus just whose action it is, kind of thing. And it's really easy to miss that. So I think that's one issue. The second, and easily the biggest issue for me, is there is wild unbalances in, well, basically everything. As an example, you've got these kind of skill tokens that you get. I'll flip them over just so we can see something. But these skill tokens. So this one here moves up 1 space on this track and gives you an imp. Then I got one here that moves up 1 space on the track. And this one here that moves up 2 spaces on the track. You've no idea what you're getting. And 2 versus 1 is obviously twice as good.
Yeah.
And this track here is potentially worth quite a lot of points. I mean, me and you were kind of vying there. Mm-hmm. The only reason I beat you is because I managed to get 2 2s. Yeah.
But
The sole reason.
Even that is better than that. That one.
Yeah. I don't know why they haven't put... I mean, if that was, say, 1 and 2 money, and that was 2 and that was 1 and an imp, then you sort of think, okay, they've tried to put a bit of parity in there. The magic cards, they're completely imbalanced as well. In fact, all of them seem to have it does this effect and everyone else gets this effect. I think I didn't see one card that didn't have another effect on. Some of them, everyone else gets ability, seem to be better than the card that you're actually getting for yourself anyway. which was dumb. And then you've got the students and the teachers. Some of them are just intrinsically better than others. They've got, you know, they might have a total of 3 skills, another one's just got 1. You sort of think, well, why would I in any way get this one? They've done nothing to try and address the balance between a lot of these things, and it was very irritating.
Well, for a Euro-y type game, it's quite weird that there's so much randomness.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it
They
was
could have
very
staggered it.
random because, like, that top section, which is supposed to be the hardest to get, my subterfuge, I got 1
Absolutely,
with nothing
yeah.
else.
And that, I mean, there was no escalation of these
Yeah.
rewards, and okay, you do get these, but the reward, you're doing it mainly for the counters. This thing is secondary, generally. They should have been better than those, and
Yeah.
they should have been better than those. Simple
And-
as that.
and
Some of
were-
these they could have been staggered in like age, like you know,
Yeah,
late in the
yeah,
game. you
get
the
better students or whatever as they go along. That's
Well,
and we all know that that's going to
What
happen.
I find quite interesting about the these tracks down at the bottom here as well. For example, this one gives you a victory point and a coin. This one gives you 2 victory points and a coin. So only for 1 more victory point, you need a mastery token and a lot more skill than this one does.
yeah.
Which is like, why wouldn't you just go there? This town is no worse off than that one. Which is weird.
That being said, we were nickel and diming towards the end, so
Yeah.
that 1 point does make a difference. But I get the point, very much so. So that really bothered me. And lastly, and certainly not least, the aesthetics. I have to say, it's seriously unattractive. Like very, very ugly. The I don't know what's the worst bit about it? I mean, this card isn't great. I can make my peace with that not being sort of thick cardboard, but the artwork, like the room tiles, are hideous for a start. There's one there. They don't kind of seem to represent the room at all. The sort of the muted colour is a bit rough as well, and I found the symbology was very, very annoying. So, for example,
That's an income, that's not.
well, yeah, that's a good example. So one of them has got a coin and an imp. That's income. This one's got 3 coins and an imp. That's an immediate reward. How can you tell that from there? And then you've got this one, where you got that one's got a. In fact, probably use that one because that's even better because that looks like a room. That one's got a student on it, and that one's got a teacher on it. That one you can put a teacher on there. That one just counts as a student for end game scoring.
You can't put a
actually
student.
put a student on it. Why? There's no consistency in the symbols at all. It was just irritating, basically.
It forced us to look at the rule book with every purchase because
Yeah.
the symbology wasn't clear.
And the rooms, some of them just seemed. I mean, this one was ridiculous. There was one in here. Where was it? This guy. Okay, so there's this one here. You build this level 2 room.
Keep in mind it costs the same.
Yeah, it costs you. It gives you +1 to your magic stat and gives you 1 magic card. Okay, this one costs exactly the same. You'll notice this one gives you the same magic stat, twice as many cards, and 2 coins. Why? It's just intrinsically better. If that's available, you're never going to buy that. And okay, yeah, you could argue that it's rewarding people getting there first and that sort of thing, but that sucks. So I have some severe problem. Like as I say, the game kind of flowed okay and was I pretty much enjoyed it, generally speaking. But I got way too many issues with so many different things, and I think for me, there's no way I can score it more than smack bang in the middle 5.
Yeah.
Because it's too many irritating things.
It's really interesting that they do that, because I was thinking about this a few minutes ago, just before we put on the camera, and I was thinking that the game before this, which was Simurg.
Yeah.
Simurg, I think, has a really good production. Great artwork. I like those little plastic...
Yeah, but they're different as well,
yeah,
aren't they? Yeah.
You know, the dragons and the stuff. The board itself was really nice, had nice artwork
Really
on the board.
nice artwork on the board, yeah.
So it was a really good production value for Simurg and the expansion. But the game itself didn't do very well in the market, I don't think. You know, it did okay.
Well,
but
enough to get expansion. Anyway,
yeah, but it didn't sell as well. And I wonder if they looked at that and thought, well, we put so much effort into making the game look great and it didn't do as well, it didn't sell as well. Maybe we should cut back on costs on making games with so much production value. Because this game is drab looking. I mean...
I'd go as far as say it's ugly, if I'm
you know,
honest. But I know get art is subjective, but it's
But art is subjective, but this to me seems like 2 different art styles put together. So if you look at these trophies and the prestige points, these are lovely. those bits of individual art are lovely. I mean,
And some of these pictures are
yeah,
quite nice.
are very. This is really nice. The coins. There are aspects of this that is lovely. They are really nice. And then it looks like somebody took a pencil and kind of drew around it. So you know, the muted colors I don't mind, but they are not muted colors. Don't work in a board game setting. I'm sitting on the at the bottom end of the board. And looking at the counters at the top of the board,
it's very hard to see those
cannot
numbers,
see
yeah.
those numbers. So, you know...
And this is quite a big board as well.
It is a
Yeah,
big
and also I
board.
will point out, none of us, to my knowledge anyway, are colourblind.
No.
So God knows how it would be if you do have an issue with colours.
I'm also not keen on the art on these buildings.
Oh,
I mean,
they're
the,
hideous.
No,
They don't even
again,
look like buildings.
That does not match this. Look, I mean, look at that. That is not the same artist. It's, yeah.
it's so.
Well, as I say, I think they've gone like clip art or something like
Well,
from these.
like this thing is, yeah.
Look at
I mean,
it.
this is not
It's
bad,
really pretty.
but this is garbage. It's
So
like,
it's very and also if you look at the tone of these pieces of artwork, that is not the same tone as like the color palettes don't match. Look, it's aesthetics, and actually the aesthetics would have bothered me much less had the symbolism been clear. Like these symbols look very clear, like you should understand them, but actually they don't mean anything because they will be identical in a different card.
and even the wizard cards are just boring. I mean, the wizard hat and purple.
Again,
that's it.
I don't mind the wizard hat, but what happened inside, you had to double check everything because it wasn't clear, and also it was unbalanced.
Yeah, I'm on some similar feeling to. What did you say? 5 out of 10.
I can't give them.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk some positives for myself here quickly. I thought this mechanic is actually really clever, really good. I really like this a lot. I love the idea of using someone else's dice, gives them an action, even though it causes chaos when there's no more neutral dice, because you just constantly, whose turn is it? Wait, who goes after you? Because I've just done this sort of thing. It's really weird.
I do wonder whether there should have been an advantage for using your own dice as well, because you're at a point where you're never going to use your own dice. If it was like you gained something intrinsic to you, plus you got to do that, you might actually sit there and go, well,
I suppose the
I get a second action with someone else using it, but if I use it myself, I'll get this instead.
But I guess it's more of a detrimental.
Well, I
thing,
think
so-
the numbers as opposed to like if you need a 5 and there's no 5.
random,
Yeah.
isn't it? There's
But the problem I felt was there's certain actions that are really good and certain actions that are rubbish.
Well, I mean, we found the last sort of 3 or 4 actions in the last round. We had nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, we hardly ever used this track. I know that's just intrinsic
3
to this
times
game.
it was used.
Yeah,
But that might very well be with our playing style over anything else.
I mean,
I don't think so at all.
these two tracks
The
weren't hardly
benefits.
used until the last couple of rounds. It was basically unless you can do building or this. This is where it was. This was used in the first 2 rounds and then never again, unless
Well,
until
actually,
the
by you, because
Yeah.
you started there in the last round or whatever. And
yeah.
you just shot round it.
And I went all the way around in my last round because I had nothing else to do. There was no more students and
That was
stuff.
2 points to earn there and some money.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think this is a great mechanic. I really do like it, but I don't feel there's enough interesting stuff to do. I mean, this subterfuge track is just boring. I mean, it's literally move up, no interesting bits
But
to it.
it really bothered me as well that this is broken by if you don't have the seals, which I mean we didn't even know there were seals on them until Jason saw it in the rule. There's a little seal on there. Me and Carla didn't have any, so it's broken by turn order because I was first. I got 6, Carla got 4.
Not that you could plan to get seals because
Yeah,
it's a random.
because it's completely blind.
So yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? I really like the buildings, the mechanic of building stuff on your,
Well, this is basically the kind of Agricola type thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? We've got
Filling
lots of negative points, and as I cover them up, they become positive
Yeah.
points.
But aesthetically, it looks. I mean, that doesn't look like you've built a college. It looks like you've.
No, it looks very higgledy
vomited
piggledy,
on-
doesn't
This
it?
look like a dormitory as well.
Yeah.
Why didn't they make it look like?
Especially that because you can't cover it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Make it look like a building.
I quite like the the expenditure track as you build buildings to add a
Yeah,
bit of
because
pressure to you.
it's that to and fro. That's
Yeah.
difficult to kind of offset.
I like that. I liked that you have to send the students off to get their careers, and this track, this track dictates what you can do. So you're trying to manipulate that track. It's cool. I quite like that. But it's hard to like this game fully because of the aestheticness and the weird balance of everything. I mean, you just I'll just pick up this token. Okay, that was a bad example because they're all the same.
I
But
think they all just do that, don't they?
but like for example, I wanted to go heavy on
Warrior.
on Warrior, and I knew I wanted to collect trophies, but I had no real choice of what trophies I was collecting. So those were my first 2 trophies, and at that point I was like, ugh. Now, how do I find a third gold one? That was already taken. It was just a random luck that I had to go find one. That really struggles with me. That that you don't really have.
You can't plan
Yeah.
for these things. It's just a crapshoot.
Yeah. And sorry, before you carry on, like this one you were saying as well, to try and go like I'm gonna get my 6 points for the. I go subterfuge, get 1. Go subterfuge, get 1.
Well, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, and I got 2 2s.
Yeah. So
And
it's
so, I mean, I immediately overtook Carla. It was like, well, that seems fair.
And I went all the way up there to try and get those. I got one at the bottom here, and that is where I got my 2.
I got 3 road tokens and moved up 5 spots, and I got 1 from something else.
and of course the other really annoying thing is like I want to get a better teacher or a better. I got a student on one of my last turns that were better than my teachers combined, which is really odd.
I mean, again, I find that I could almost excuse that, or accept that is maybe a dynamic. Like if you want to use Harry Potter references, Hermione Granger was probably smarter than some of her teachers, right? So I can accept that. But the imbalances in other parts of the game basically just mean you're putting faces at that. Because the imbalance in the other games, it didn't seem like it was a conscious choice. It seemed like it was a random aspect of it because nothing else was consistent. You can forgive one of those inconsistencies or try and explain it. Also, why is the hourglass going up?
Yeah, I don't know.
It bothers me immensely.
Right, so before you start, I'm going to say I think I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I think there's a game in here. I think it's a decent game. I think if it had a nice aesthetic and a little more balance on the cards, it'd be a pretty good game. So that's my thoughts. Go for it, Mick.
Well, I'm with you with the 6, basically because I don't know. I enjoy aesthetics, but I'm not as bothered about them as what's going on here. I certainly don't really care about going up and down, but I understand the point. But that is not good.
Yeah.
You have to keep going and looking at a book to actually realise or remember what the building is that you're trying to look. But one of the advantages of going first, you're supposed to understand. You're supposed to get maybe the bit better building, and you don't get a better building because you didn't understand the tile properly.
Well, it's just consistency in it, isn't it?
There should be some.
If it's an income, maybe a
between
plus.
income,
Yeah.
exactly, versus immediate reward.
But I think I was definitely enjoying it. I had a terrible 4th turn. I did say I'd cock up and end up last. Well, I did because of the 4th turn.
We were very down.
Yeah.
We were fighting for second.
But now, when as I approached the end, the last round, halfway through, 2/3 of the way through the last round, there was a little glimmer of hope that maybe I wouldn't be last or whatever. There was a couple of bonus points here or whatever. And then I looked and I realised there was, regardless of what my tactic was, there was very little the other players couldn't do by that point. And that bugged me a little bit. I mean, I got 6, 6 and 4 on here. I managed to get 1 token up here. In these stopped me. I put all that effort
And the fact
into
that there was no
getting these.
students available.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that didn't help. But I mean, at that point, I could go up here before everyone else. I built mine up quick, at the detriment of doing something else, and they
it didn't
blocked
help
me.
you. Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd have won. And that's not the point. I enjoy the game because I enjoy the game.
But I feel like there is the inconsistency again, whereas you've put in to get higher up than everybody else, and we could kind of rope in from the bottom and achieve the same amount of points.
Yeah, and there was looking at one point, we had the discussion, it really looked like we can't afford to do the buildings by the end because we'll all suffer minus points.
Yeah.
And then I looked around and only 1 didn't get built.
Well, at one point, Carla played a couple of cards, and I think all of us got.
Yeah.
I think you guys took imps actually.
But
I took money on every single one and got 6 money out of it, and that basically let me build another building and afford to pay the income.
For no gain, like you did nothing for that.
No, there was nothing. But for me to be able to achieve what I needed to achieve, to get to where I was in terms of my second place, I had to give everybody else that.
And I understand you can have these sort of things in a lot of games, and depending on the time in the game, you get these things can depend, change situations. But like I said, just right near the end, I was enjoying the game. Like I said, we've said about the flaws. I was enjoying the game, and like I said, now I look back at that last half of the last turn, and it was just like, wow, we got to the point, and it just everyone could actually we summed it up. Jason going from there, ignored it all game. What did it matter? And wallop, got all of them, just because. Well,
I've got nothing better to do. Yeah.
But there was nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
And that,
It makes you feel like the effort you put into it is null and void.
Yeah.
But isn't this this is a Euro game, right? So essentially, it's like this, like set collection and resource, like you pulling up your resources, you building things, and then he throws like this random like I don't like games that are heavily weighed on chance. Like I don't like that, and I choose not to play that. It's like this game is that chance based, wrapped in a parcel that I would normally play. So it kind of lies to you, because there's a point where you're like, well, I should have done better, but actually this is random and that is random and that is random and that is random. So actually, no, I didn't actually have any say about what I was
the only
going to
thing
do.
that you have 100% saying is when you buy a building, because you buy what you want to buy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the buildings are imbalanced.
Yeah.
And so someone just gets a better building than somebody else. It's like, why?
Well, we just commented about the card that he said I should have taken. Had I taken that, I would have threatened you, I reckon. Not taking that card,
Well,
that difference
punched
in
him.
that having that student probably was it was probably a swing of anywhere from 7 to 11
Well,
points.
it would have meant you could have done another...
I
set
wasted
another
3
student off.
goes on my turn 4 because I couldn't use a student.
I think the biggest issue I have with this game is that I know we get very focused on the aesthetics, but don't misunderstand us. None of us is that upset with the aesthetics. We're upset that it's not clear as to what you should and shouldn't do sometimes.
The reason,
and that makes everything else like it's a compound effect.
Well,
I feel we all enjoyed the game. It's just there's a point where you realise actually you had very little control. And actually, if you think about mixed game versus our games, it was luck that made certain choice, like getting something before somebody else.
especially because we were so close in points.
Well, look, I mean, I'm on a 4 rogue. He's on 4. I think you was at 3, and he's on 2. I couldn't get rogue. I didn't get. I don't think I got a rogue token.
I was very lucky to get this one.
I think what it comes down to here is the fact that there is a good game in here, but it's not aesthetically pleasing. It's not really all that balanced.
You know what it seems like to me? It seems like this is a half-decent prototype.
Yes.
And basically it needs another round of playtesting, and then they'll do the final production copy. That's what it seems like to
Yeah,
me.
because what I was about to finish was like, well, I'm not going to keep this game. It's going to go on the trade pile or the sell pile because I have 50 other games on the shelf behind me that has all those things fixed already.
Yeah.
And that's the problem here. It's not that we think this is a bad game or a terrible
Yeah, I
game.
was enjoying
Yeah,
it.
I
yeah.
don't think, personally, as Carl was saying, if everything else was fixed and the aesthetics were just as they were, I would be okay with that. But I don't feel there's
Stefan
any
Feld
excuse.
games get made.
there's no excuse for the level of inconsistencies and imbalances that there was. There's no excuse for it. Simple as that. I just don't get it. I don't know how they can justify
Or if you
it.
have them, stage them. You have them inconsistencies, but have them at levels.
Well,
So when you've
I was
paid
thinking
so much more,
I was
for
thinking
certain
exactly
things.
that. Like this is staged. So 1, 2s, and 3s.
Yep.
So why aren't these staged
Absolutely.
1s, 2s, and 3s?
And you could have the students, like the first
Same.
round come
Yeah.
out a bit shitter, and then you get like middle of the deck, and then high end of the deck.
100%. Yeah.
There's no reason. I mean, some are just worse than others, and you're never going to pick the worst one. When one's got a 2 rogue skill and a 1 warrior skill, you're never going to take the one that's just got the 1 rogue skill.
And because of the
Yeah.
bonus action, it's all right with people to say, well, you go first, so you get the better choice. But if I went first, and then I chose his dice,
Yeah.
he gets choice before you two do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that through actually nothing
Well,
he did.
if you look at in that example, you could have a go, and Jason has a go, and then I have a go, and then you might have another go. So Carla's she's third, but she's actually missed out on 4 actions before she's even done anything.
Yeah.
In the last turn, she had all of her goes, including the bonus one, and there was still about 6 dice left, 6 dice left.
So she just powered down for a bit.
Ironically, though, I actually liked the dice bit. That sounds like I'm moaning about the dice bit.
No.
That's not what I mean. It's just that if you're going to give someone the ability to jump turn, which the bonus does, then having them all mixed up.
Yeah, you
makes
can't
it even less
imbalance
reason.
that with an imbalanced turn order.
Exactly.
Yeah, leveling, because you could hold off maybe on the first turn with the student because you know, better ones are coming.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. And I mean, this mechanic, like you were saying, wasn't used. And after you'd said it earlier, I think basically the only way that this would ever really be beneficial is if this didn't move.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And
that's what,
then-
and
then you
honestly,
would
I
spend
thought it didn't move. I thought it would only move
And that would
when
make
someone
more
went
sense
there.
to me.
Yeah,
Because
but-
then you would be fighting to get that. And then these benefits would actually mean a little bit more as well. So it's I, don't
Unless
know,
that
I
was-
think it's a pity.
Unless they did throw that in for the situation where I had an awful turn and or the last bit of the 5th turn, we have nothing to do. Let's just have a throwaway section. That might have been.
Well, I
what it was.
knew I was going to go on there as soon as I got the opportunity to take first play because I knew it was worth points and I knew that we would be fighting over that as well. So it's not only was it worth a point for that, it was worth potentially an extra 2 on top of that as well. So it's like
And for
I
me,
need to take
because it
first
was
player.
worth points, that was why I
It
feel
seems-
like it should have had
It seems
more
like the
of a-
first player thing. Now we're talking about it. It's like it seems like the first player thing is just sort of like a throwaway because of the alternate dice way. The dice way, first player doesn't mean anything anyway. You get first choice, but so does someone else.
But you get a point at the end of the game with it.
Yeah, it's just odd.
because you are unlikely, especially the first go of each round with so many dice to choose from. Very unlikely to choose your own dice.
That's interesting because this game poses a problem for the fact that we almost really enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, I was
But
really enjoying myself.
It's just it just when a game annoys you with little things, that's when you start picking holes in everything in the game after that because it kind of deteriorates. And it does definitely. I like Martin's comment of this feels like it's a demo copy of something. Like the artwork isn't quite done yet.
They're looking for
And-
some feedback to finish it
Just
off.
a few more tweaks, one last pass on the balance and stuff.
And the balance is definitely the issue here. If they took this game away, genuinely looked at the building, making it look like buildings, making sure that all the symbology is accurate and definitable. Otherwise, don't put them on there at all and have a track that you check on or something. But, that everything is correct and as it should be and the balance is sorted. This then becomes a very interesting and worthwhile game to keep. So,
So what's your score? You don't score.
No, I wouldn't keep this game as it is now. I think I enjoyed this enough to say that it's middle of the road, right?
I wouldn't be put off playing it again.
No. And this is not my
I
first
would.
playthrough. I will
I wouldn't
also
rush
say
back
we
to it.
haven't.
I wouldn't rush back to it, but I wouldn't be put off. If someone said, "Oh, I really want to try this," I've just bought it. Yeah, I'll definitely play it. I wouldn't even put them off buying it.
Yeah.
I just, from my own personal feeling,
I think
just feel let down by the end.
it's one of those. If it was a choice, you'd always choose the other thing similar.
Yeah.
But if like someone was like, "I need a 4th player," and you had nothing to do, you'd be like, "Fine, let's play it."
And maybe there is a small part of me that thinks that because we play as many games as we do, these problems are so much more apparent. Maybe that's the thing, as gamers that game often.
and you've got so much more choice to choose from as well.
It makes a difference.
What do we think about like the complexity? Is it like a light, medium, heavy game?
I had no problem.
Medium, I would say.
I had no problem with the complexity, and like I said, I just wish. I think maybe the 4th turn, 4 turns might have been. There was that little bit more pressure that you weren't going to get everything you wanted done. Like I said, that the last third of the 5th turn just felt like you got everything.
See, I feel like it's a light game. I really do because
But
I mean,
It might
you
be
think-
light medium, but I think there's
because you feel
I
like
think
everyone's.
if you introduced like a pretty much non-gamer to this, their head would explode.
Yes, they
100%.
would, absolutely.
It's not just a light game.
Oh yeah, I
No,
suppose
it's
you're right
not.
there. Because the reason I think that is why I thought it was like because we almost all finished our careers. We all finished our building all our built spaces. I mean, I know Carla had one left.
Yeah,
It was
no,
just-
but that was just the
It's,
roll of the
yeah,
dice.
it was
wasn't
just
it?
like we all finished this track. You know, everything was all done by the end of the 5
Yeah,
turns,
true,
and
yeah.
I feel like
None of that pressure sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why I
maybe-
think maybe
yeah.
the fourth, just at the
Same.
end of the fourth turn, because it'd have been so critical. It might have been critical that you didn't get your extra dice out.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all of us on the 5th turn just did actions because we had dice, and I feel like if that's the end of the game and that's how you feel, then it's very light. You know, everyone
I mean,
done everything they wanted to.
think light would be. I think for experienced gamers who play these style games often, maybe this would be a light. But there's too much. There's too much happening in this board to.
I
to be
don't.
considered
I don't
light.
necessarily think that that's game weight though. I just think that there wasn't enough pressure
Yeah, maybe I like.
over the time span, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like complexity wise, I think medium, maybe light medium, but I think medium weight is pretty accurate. But in terms of, it's not like Agricola when it's like last term. It's like shit. Well, I need to do this. I need
Yeah.
to do that. I need to do that. I need to fill up this, or I'm going to be getting negative points. How do I deal with that? It was just like, well, I've done everything I need to. I've got enough money to pay off that. I've filled up all the spaces. I can't get any more students to send any more.
Well,
Yeah.
What do
when
I
Nick
do
is
with my
right.
last 2 actions?
Yeah.
Because basically this last set, I wasn't worried when I got to turn 4. However, if we'd gotten to turn 4 and that was it, I would definitely have felt that way.
Yeah,
It
but
would-
I was under pressure to
Tell you,
get.
it would have been
Yeah.
much different if the only thing that happened was you just get that and everyone just does that once.
Yeah, well, I was under pressure, you know, with this the students and that last round because of my
Well,
bad
actually,
round before, and then
We lucked out in the way that worked because it'd been quite easy if it was in a different order that someone got none and other people got multiples there.
potentially.
But the fact that it was mine and Carla's dice that gave
But me and Nick
you
were going
first
first,
turn,
yeah.
then also that was actually a poor roll because it was only 1 3 and 1 4
Yeah.
out of 13 dice. The odds were that there would be a lot more 3s and 4s than any normal dice roll.
Yeah.
So I know we lucked out of that particular point, but we could have all got that last student easily, just like that, not a problem.
I like to point out our discussion of this game was longer than our gameplay section.
Well, we had a lot to say.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much exhausted it now.
Yeah.
Right? So
Well, there you go. That's our thoughts on Dragonsgate College from NSKN
and I've got to
Games.
be honest, it came out Essen a year ago,
Yeah.
essentially. How often do you hear it mentioned, spoken about, see it played? No, I don't even see it for sale.
No,
anymore.
yeah.
I mean, it's like it's vanished into a void.
And then maybe for the reasons we've mentioned.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's our thoughts. Thanks for watching. Comment below, like and subscribe, and all the usual bollocks. See you guys later.
Yeah.